Hello, my friends. So, are you trying to convince someone about Power BI? Now, what we often do is when we're talking about trying to convince somebody and we're talking about Power BI, we focus on the solution, but it's actually better to focus on the problem. So let's talk about that now. By the way, this came up in the discussion in our live Power BI career Q&A call, and this was part of a bigger discussion on basically finding Power BI jobs. But there was this one that I wanted to focus on, which is again, so this was could be an interview when you're looking for a job, but even otherwise, you could be talking to anybody within your department, company, organization, or potential client, potential employer, any of those things. But if you're talking to somebody where the situation is that it feels like you're trying to convince them about Power BI, sometimes we fixate or we start talking about the solution. But we have to realize is that that's not where people live. They don't live in the solutions because frankly, if they lived there, then they would have already done it. So they live in their problems. Their problems occupy them. Think about the kind of things that always seem to percolate in your head, right? I mean, it's always the problem, something you're stuck on. Like one challenge that I'm stuck on is that I keep getting ideas of creating new videos for my followers, and I have 8 pages full of ideas. Clearly, it's a problem, right? I mean, I'm bottlenecked at that. I have a lot more ideas. I'm not able to get more ideas out. So again, right, we live in our problems. That's what stays on our brain. So you engage people better when you start with the problem. Engage them there, and then you can talk to them about the solution. Then they're ready to hear about the solution, but otherwise they're not. You know what? Let's put that aside. Let's talk about with examples. So I have some specific examples here. So, of course, we know the solution already. The Power BI provides a central model. And we know, you and I know as Power BI professionals, that how incredibly powerful that can be. But again, if you start talking to them, it's like, oh, Power BI does a central model. They may not have any idea. They may not know what that means, what that term means, what that implies. Right? They may know the meaning, but they wouldn't know how their life is going to change with the central model. So think about what are the problems, and especially think about them as symptom. Like what symptoms do you see? So again, there's common cold. Well, they have the virus, and you can talk about the virus, but no. I mean, if you talk about the symptoms, like, oh, do you have a runny nose? Do you have a fever? That is easier to absorb, right? So the symptoms can be, I know this was a symptom for me, that since I didn't have a central model, I had Excel sheets and reports and all of these flying everywhere with formulas and endless formulas, right? So I call it the formula spaghetti, right? So yeah, talk to them about that. Like, is that the world you had? Have you seen that? Do you see that around? Do you experience that for yourself or your team? Right? It's just a spaghetti of formula spilling out everywhere. And now you have their attention because they know that world. They're like, oh my God, yeah, tell me about it. That is so frustrating, right? So again, so let's take another example. So the solution that Power BI has is these dynamic interactive reports. And again, it's tempting. It's so tempting to even show them and say, yeah, look, you can click this, and it's all these cross filters and highlights and all that stuff, and it's so exciting. And again, that can work, but what if you talked about the symptoms? So what is the problem? How does the problem manifest itself? And that's where the symptoms come in, right? How does the problem manifest itself? Again, just like a common cold. So the symptom, or one of them that I saw, was that, man, you would go into a meeting and everybody would walk out with a ton of action items, because it'll be like a static PowerPoint or even a PDF, and you're looking at a page and somebody says, ooh, why did that number go high? Why did that change? And everybody just does a shoulder shrug, like, I don't know. Okay, action item, you get it, right? So everybody's just like a list of action items. So I was like, does that happen to you? So you talk about that, and then you have their attention, because nobody really likes those action items, right? It's like, yeah, oh my God, that does happen all the time, and yeah, it's not fun. It's like, well, what would you think if instead of walking out with a ton of action items, somebody asked a question right then and there? You could just touch that, tap that, drill down, drill in, whatever, right? So then tell them about the solution. So again, if you start with a problem, you have their attention, you hook them, and then they're ready to hear about the solution, right? Okay, let's do last one, which is report sharing. So again, that is a solution. Power BI easily lets you share a report. And you can start there if you want to ignore my advice. But think about the symptoms. So one of the ways that this problem manifested itself, one of the symptoms was this question that I got so tired of answering. I was like, Avi, where's the latest report? Have you sent the latest report? Can you send me the latest report? And I'm like, oh, God, I sent it to you last night. I was like, oh, I can't find it. Oh, I have version 1.2. Isn't this the version 2.1 or something? And it was not fun. So again, if you start with the problem, if you say, hey, does this happen to you? Where people are looking for the latest version of the report or something like that. One of the bonus ones I will mention is in here in the central model, which is that reports don't agree. So two different departments walk in, and sales has some numbers and other has some numbers, and they're saying, no, those numbers don't match. I mean, you're saying our sales were up. This was, so, and of course that is a symptom as well. So again, folks, if you are in a position where you're trying to convince someone about Power BI, focus on the problem. All right, focus on the problem. You're going to do yourself a favor and them a favor, because then you will have their attention, and then talk about the solution. And for the problem, think about the symptoms. Think about how they see it. What are the symptoms that would be noticeable to them? Runny nose, high fever, formula spaghetti, walking out and meeting the action items. Think about it that way. Hopefully that helped. Again, join us for Talk Power BI for live Q&A. And if you are interested, then go to learnpowerbi.com and check out our training and coaching programs. I'll see you in the next video. Power on.